over Kristaps Porzingis. Facing the jam. Lightning nails the three.
The Suns fought their way through the play-in just to get here, and then one playoff game exposed everything, because this was supposed to be Phoenix's chance to prove they belonged in the bracket. Instead, Game 1 against Oklahoma City turned into a brutal reality check. The Suns didn't just lose, they got blown out 119-84 after earning the 8th seed through the play-in, and suddenly the biggest question around this team is not how far they can go, it's whether they were ever really ready for this level in the first place. And that's what makes this loss feel bigger than one game. Because Phoenix has talent. Phoenix has names people know. Phoenix has a star in Devin Booker. But when the playoffs started and the pressure got real, the Suns looked like a team that still has way more problems than answers. Booker was still the franchise centerpiece this season, even earning another All-Star nod, but one-star presence doesn't erase what Game 1 revealed about the rest of this team. So this is not just about OKC being great, this is about Phoenix proving, on the biggest stage, that they are still not ready. Before Phoenix ever saw OKC, the warning signs were already there. This was not a team that stormed into the playoffs looking dangerous. This was a team that had to survive the play-in just to get into the bracket. They lost to Portland in the 7-versus-8 game, then had to beat Golden State to grab the final playoff spot. That alone told you Phoenix was walking into the postseason from a position of instability, not control. And that matters, because the teams that are truly ready usually don't arrive looking this fragile. They don't spend the final stretch fighting just to stay alive and then suddenly become trustworthy the second the playoffs begin. Usually the playoffs expose what was already there. And with Phoenix, the problems were already there. They were good enough to stay relevant, good enough to stay in the mix, good enough to win 45 games. But there is a huge difference between being good enough to hang around and being ready to deal with a real contender once the postseason starts. Phoenix finished 45-37, which sounds respectable until you remember what happened the second they got matched with the West's top seed. That's why Game 1 hit so hard. It didn't feel random, it felt like the truth finally catching up. This is the key point. Oklahoma City didn't just outplay Phoenix, it exposed the gap. The Thunder won Game 1 by 35 points, 119-84. That is not a normal playoff loss. That is the kind of score that tells you one team was ready for the stage and the other team was overwhelmed by it. And that's the real story here. When a playoff game gets that ugly that fast, it stops being just about one bad shooting night or one rough quarter. It starts looking like a team that does not have the structure, poise, or identity to survive a real postseason test. That was Phoenix. Because once the pressure turned up, the Suns did not look like a team with clear answers. They looked like a team trying to hold itself together possession by possession. Their half-court offense looked uncomfortable. Their margin for error disappeared fast. And once OKC took control, Phoenix looked like a team without the kind of stability that serious playoff teams need. That is why this game matters so much. It's not just that they lost, it's the way they looked while losing. And the way they looked made it hard to believe this was just a bad night. It looked like a team that still isn't built for this level. This is what makes the Suns so frustrating. They still have Devin Booker. And Booker is not some random bright spot on a bad team. He's still the face of the franchise, still an all-star level player, and still the one guy opponents genuinely worry about when Phoenix takes the floor. But that's also the problem, because too often, Phoenix feels like a team where Booker has to make too much of the whole thing work. And that is not what real playoff readiness looks like. A ready team does not need one player to hold the entire emotional structure together. A ready team does not fall apart the second the opponent controls the tempo. A ready team does not look this unsure of itself once the game starts going sideways. Booker can still be great, but one great player does not automatically make a team ready. And right now, Phoenix looks like a team where the talent is easier to name than the identity. That's dangerous in the regular season. In the playoffs, it gets exposed immediately. Because once the game slows down and every weakness gets targeted, identity matters more than almost anything. And the Suns still do not look like a team with a reliable postseason identity. They look like a team trying to piece one together in real time. That is why this feels so disappointing. Not because Phoenix has no talent. Because they have enough talent that this shouldn't look this messy. This is the deeper issue. The Suns don't just look overmatched. They look incomplete. And there is a difference. An overmatched team can still feel organized. It can still feel tough. It can still look like it knows who it is. Phoenix often doesn't. The 2025 offseason reset after the Durant trade gave them a very different roster, with Booker still there, but new rotation pieces like Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Mark Williams, and others trying to shape a new version of the team. That can create intrigue, but it can also create uncertainty, especially once you're thrown into playoff basketball against a team as sharp as OKC. And uncertainty is exactly what Phoenix looked like in Game 1. Not settled, not clear, not dangerous, just uncertain. That is why the loss felt bigger than one result. Because when a team gets to the playoffs and still looks like it's figuring itself out, it tells you everything. It tells you the clock is moving faster than the team's development. It tells you the ideas might be there, but the real version of the team is not. And it tells you that the postseason might be revealing the truth before Phoenix wanted to hear it. That truth is simple. This team is still not ready.